I do it all for you, Savannah.
I don't like you, Jimmy.
Password, next Tuesday on NBC and Peacock.
Everyday Americans enter my castle. Who are the traitors?
When nobody knows who you are, you can get away with murder.
Absolute carnage.
The Traitors' New Blood, September 17th on NBC and Peacock.
With breaking news.
And I will always love you.
Right now at 11, the many facets of Dolly Parton, songwriter, musician, actress, businesswoman, philanthropist, and global icon. Tonight, the world is remembering country music legend Dolly Parton and the legacy she leaves behind. She was a one-of-a-kind talent who touched countless lives across generations. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. Today, Dolly's family announced she died surrounded by family after a brief battle with cancer. She was 80 years old. Dolly rose from poverty to become one of the best-selling artists of all time. She began her career in the mid-1950s, performing for radio stations in Tennessee and introducing the airwaves to her distinctive voice and musical talent.
For service and devotion, you would think that I would deserve a fair promotion.
She sparkled from the inside out, what she called a country girl's idea of glam, but always guided by her faith. Dolly was a unifying force at a time when America felt more divided than ever. And perhaps because she spent decades wearing costumes weighted down by rhinestones, she told her nephew she wanted to be buried on a beautiful bed of plush cotton. Her final resting place will be in Nashville. The world is mourning an American legend, President Trump ordering flags flown at half-staff in memory of Dolly Parton. And here in Southern California, people are packing the sidewalk along the Walk of Fame in Hollywood tonight, Dolly's star overflowing with flowers and candles. NBC4's Robert Cavassa continues our coverage as we remember Dolly. Robert.
Carolyn, and on this day that we lose Dolly tonight from the Hard Rock Cafe in Miami and Dollywood, remembering her for her music and her movies, but also as you see tributes mounting outside of her Tennessee home, her family states tonight about Dolly Parton. Her unmatched generosity reached the lives of countless people whom she never met, yet she always was there to offer a helping hand.
Tonight in New York City, the Empire State Building sparkling pink in her honor. Across the country here in Costa Mesa, fans gather at a mural to reflect on her impact.
Her support for people of color and gay, lesbian, bisexual people was all just phenomenal.
It was like heaven gained an angel today.
And at the Hollywood Bowl, where she sold out quickly for 2 nights in 2011 and then again in 2016.
She was lovely. She was a lovely artist to work with.
But Dolly Parton has left us with more than just bittersweet memories.
Dolly Parton was love and joy and promise and talent and philanthropy.
In 2016, when wildfires ravaged the Great Smoky Mountains, the place she grew up, Dolly gave $1,000 a month to each family that lost their home.
And we want to provide a hand up to all those families that have lost everything in the fires.
She was donating again a few years later when Hurricane Helene devastated Middle Tennessee, raising awareness by changing the lyrics to one of her legendary songs.
Helene, 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 you came in here and broke us all apart.
She put a more positive spin on that tune when she got a COVID shot.
Vaccine, 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 vaccine.
A vaccine she helped fund by donating $1 million to research. Dolly was married to her husband, Carl Thomas Dean, for 59 years before he died last year. The two never had children, but Parton gave to children around the world.
Well, hello.
In 2018, I took the stage with Dolly in downtown Los Angeles as she was honored for creating the Imagination Library, a program that mails free books to kids worldwide. It was inspired by her father, who couldn't read or write.
My dad never had a chance to go to school, and he couldn't read and write. And that was really crippling to him.
It was also that night in Los Angeles when her signature humor and humility was on display, recounting her father's reaction when a Dolly Parton statue was dedicated in their hometown.
And Daddy said, "Oh, I think that's wonderful. I really do. And I know that to the fans out there that you may be some sort of an idol, but you know, to those pigeons, you're just another outhouse."
Next year, we can look forward to a Broadway show Dolly was working on based on her life. That life, an inspiring one. And Dolly said she did it all for you.
I just want to be able to lift up people if I can and do something, put some joy out there.
Consider that 1 in 6 children in the United States under the age of 5 get a free monthly book thanks to Dolly Parton and the Imagination Library. Those free books will continue to be sent to honor Dolly's legacy. Her family says they will have a small private funeral service, and Dolly will be buried next to her late husband, Carl. And in lieu of flowers, her family asked for donations to be made to the Imagination Library. I'm Robert Kovacic. Carolyn.
Robert, thank you. And as you just mentioned, Dolly Parton was known for her wit, humor, and humility, and that was certainly clear during her 2015 interview with our Michelle Valles.
My mother always said, "Now, I don't care how successful you get, you always give God the credit." I said, "I will, but I'm going to take the cash," if that's all right with you.
When she walked into the ballroom for the interview, it was like a frequency, a different frequency. She really was, and I mean it, like an earth angel. And to be that ethereal, but yet be grounded and down to earth, it was interesting to see someone walk in both dimensions. She was a star, indeed.
Just incredibly special. And to hear more of Michelle's reflections on Dolly, just go to NBCLA.com or our NBCLA app. You'll find that, along with tributes from around the world. Just click on Dolly Parton on the homepage. Our other top story tonight, these scorching temperatures. Hot weather is once again stretching into the overnight hours. This is a live look from atop Mount Wilson. The heat is expected to stay with us for several more days, and meteorologist David Bigger tracking it all. David.
Yeah, and temperatures are not going to be getting any cooler for the next few days, not at least until we get into the weekend where maybe there's a sign of some relief. But today we had temperatures around 104 in San Bernardino, 106 in Hemet, 104 in Van Nuys, 95 degrees in downtown LA, which makes it the 14th day at or above 90 degrees this month. And if our forecast pans out, we're looking at potentially getting up to 19 total days above 90. And that would tie for the most 90s in a single month with August of 1983. So this is also our 8th August day in a row. So our 8th day in a row above 90 degrees. Our forecast might take that up to 13 consecutive days at or above 90 degrees. The record is 14. So this will actually tie us for the second longest streak. It's just an incredible heat wave that we've been looking at. That is also going to continue for the next couple of days. That is why we're all under heat alerts. We have extreme heat warnings as well as heat advisories that go all the way through the Friday evening time frame. And we're looking at a risk of a very high risk of heat-related illnesses. And that's all because of not only the daytime temperatures, but also the warm overnight temperatures. We really don't have effective overnight relief happening for a lot of our inland spots. A great example, Santa Clarita, tomorrow morning, potentially only 79 degrees at the coolest, 78 degrees for Thursday. But you'll notice that as we head into the weekend, we start to see those morning lows come down in temperature. That's a sign of the cooling trend coming our way. I've got details on that in a few minutes. Back to you.
And our coverage of this heat wave continues now with Darsha Phillips live in La Mirada, where it's now about 20 degrees cooler than at its peak today. And Darsha, I'm sure you are feeling the change.
We are feeling the change. It is definitely cooler, but just as David mentioned, usually here in Southern California, we can bank on cool mornings, hot days, and cool nights. But that's not really what's happening in a lot of places in Southern California, which is why this heat wave is that much more unbearable.
Practice under the floodlights feels better than practicing under sunlight.
I remind the coaches, it's going to be hot. Make sure that we have plenty of water. Make sure we take care of the players so they don't get any heat exhaustion.
But here in La Mirada, during this heat wave, it takes a long time for the night to cool off, especially when you have pads and helmets on.
yes, I'm not wearing helmet and shoulder pads, but we feel it too. You know, right now I'm thirsty. You know what I mean? So if we also put the gauge on ourselves. Like if I'm thirsty, of course the boys are going to be thirsty, and we're not doing the physical activity that they're doing.
Coaches say when it's this hot, taking breaks and drinking water is key.
I tell the kids if they're hydrating right before practice, they're not hydrated, they're not ready for practice.
All across Southern California, temperatures have been soaring from the valley to the IE to the coast. Folks are trying to beat the heat. Cooling centers are open, but even at night, people are getting little relief, especially in places like Boyle Heights, where the lineage crisis has kept some from opening their windows because of the smell coming from the warehouse.
You can still smell it at night, especially like around midnight. It still comes around.
Experts encourage people to do outdoor activity after the sun sets. Check on your elderly neighbors and keep pets inside.
And this extreme heat advisory will remain in effect until Friday evening. Live in La Mirada tonight, I'm Darsha Phillips, NBC4 News.
Thanks, Darsha. And we'll continue to bring you the latest on this heat wave. For updates sent directly to your phone, you can scan the QR code that you see there on your screen. That will take you to our NBC LA app. You'll have access to our First Alert network and be able to track temperatures in your neighborhood. With this heat comes a higher risk of fire danger, but the risk in California really is year-round. And now there are new rules for homeowners in fire-prone areas. They're called Zone Zero rules, which require homeowners to clear brush and debris from around their property. NBC4's Tracy Leong explains the new rules.
New rules from the California Board of Forestry and Fire Protection are focusing on the first 5 feet surrounding a home, a critical area known as Zone Zero. The goal is to clear combustible material in this area to reduce the chances of a fire spreading.
If we can control ignition and defend our homes, you know, we may not suffer and go through what we've just been through.